Okay, we continue the same chapter. Now we just did this Punnett square, crossing two heterozygotes to get this result. Okay. Now we can look at the genotypes and the phenotypes in ratios. So I have this little chart here to kind of illustrate that. Now in this cross, we have three genotypes: homozygous dominant, heterozygous, homozygous recessive. Now, in this cross, we have one of the homozygous dominants, we have two heterozygotes, and we have one homozygous recessive, giving us a genotypic ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. Now, the phenotypic ratio is purple, 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 and white. So our phenotypic ratio is 3 to 1 in this cross, okay? In this example, in this outcome. So those are explanations of the terminology here. Now, let me erase this really quick. If you're looking at a purple flowered pea plant, how do you know if it is homozygous dominant or if it is heterozygous? Well, you won't know by looking at it, because the same phenotype could have one of two genotypes. Now, the way you could figure this out is by performing what is called a test cross. That is, you cross the unknown with a homozygous recessive. Look over the notes, practice this. Now, if the unknown is homozygous dominant and you cross it with a homozygous recessive, you're going to get all purple flower plants. If the purple flower plant is this and you cross it, you're going to get purple and white in a 2 to 2 or 1 to 1 ratio. Practice the Punnett square. Okay, that's called a test cross. Now, next we have the other principle of Mendel, the so-called law of independent assortment. If this sounds familiar, we already talked about independent assortment of homologous chromosomes in the previous chapter, so it wasn't a coincidence. To illustrate the principle of independent assortment, or the law of independent assortment, you have to look at the inheritance pattern of two traits at the same time. In other words, what Mendel observed was that each pair of alleles independently assorted with other pairs of alleles. Now, figure 14.8 shows you what is called a dihybrid cross. Now, I'm going to stop the video, put a dihybrid cross on the board, and we'll see it in the next video.